hit it, haven't you? And pump it long.
Mike is under the impression that our goalkeeper's kicking is so bad it caused the accident you saw in the North Sea.
Is it too soon to joke about that?
No.
Yeah, I had this conversation with Alex earlier. Yeah, it probably is.
Well, that was I thought that was a very good docked image of a football.
I pleaded with you, do not share that.
It was good.
I'm very tempted. Look, we've got to be able to. We know about people lost at sea, mostly on cruises nowadays because we don't worry about ships. We don't have many of them.
Going back to what Ed was saying, just bear about, we're now going back to the...
what Ed was saying before we started.
Because I can't talk about North Sea ships. Yeah. But going back to passing from the back, I think it's the gentrification of League Two football, and quite frankly, I'm well against it. We need to get the game back to the people, get it back to the streets, stop this middle class nonsense taking over our game, pump the ball up.
What I find interesting is that the number of fourth division clubs who now say our identity, our DNA, that's the thing you've got to work in there, is to play good passing football. And no team ever says our DNA is to pump it up and to have a big man up top with a little man making runs around him. I want one team to have the honesty to say that is our DNA.
Ed,
that's Cowley's DNA, isn't it?
Hang on. I was going to say, Ed, I'm saying it with love. That might be Newport's.
Yeah, it definitely has been in the not too distant past for sure.
What was the you were always the team that I would look back at and go, why can't we? When someone gets fouled, why are we not surrounding the goalkeeper? All of us are just popping off for a drink or having I'll sign your shirt while they're getting our guy sent off. We even had, was it Hammond went up to Macca when he was in goal just trying to freak him out, and it worked.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You're going to miss. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Podrick, considering the club forgot you.
Do you think they thought it was Podge underneath the Irish suit? Because they put two pictures of Gav out, and it's Gav that's underneath the Irish suit. Yeah. Obviously, my favourite Irish player is Gav, but Podge needs a bit of a mention.
Yeah, there've been a lot of discussions today about whether in the recent past Podge or Mark O'Brien is our favoured player of Irish descendancy. We had loads under Graham Coughlin. It was, you couldn't move for leprechauns in our side when he was in charge. But Podge for me, I think takes the cake.
Was James McEwen Irish? Because I'm pretty sure when I used to see him on Football Manager, it came up with an Irish nationality.
Yeah, he's got some. Did he play for the under 21s? Yeah. I think it was Northern Irish.
No, it was Irish. It was Southern.
Was it Irish?
Yeah.
Same thing, Mike. Don't worry about it. They're very good about it.
Only reason I'm English is because my granddad got sent from prison from saying stuff like that in Ireland.
What, to Grimsby?
No, Durham. Got sent to Durham prison in 1901 for being a twat.
Grimsby's Irish equivalent of Australia. That's where they sent them. Send them to GY.
Don't make me go there. It's worse than death. Well, Ed, thank you for coming along. We won't deal with all the shit with the... Do we want the theme tune, boys and girls? Facebook are getting very annoyed with it, saying that it's copyrighted, even though it's all copyright-free music. But it's fine.
Is the shipping forecast now subject to copyright?
Maybe.
BBC.
Let's go with it. Let's see. Did it work?
Fuck you, Blake.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be on a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good job. You can't make it straight like that.
I thought I was going to sneeze then. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the DN35 podcast. We are actually putting some work in. This is the second episode of the week, you freeloaders who never pay for anything. And we are joined by one of the few League Two podcasts that still talk to us. Ed is joining us from the 1912 Exiles Podcast. How are you doing? How is everything in South Wales?
Good evening, Nusswaith. Yeah, all is well here. The sun always shines on the virtuous in South Wales. So, yeah, we're doing well.
Absolutely. Town are looking to get back into the groove and practice their goal kicking and make sure it's perfect and trying to see who used to be, let's be honest, a bit of a bogey team for the Mariners. Newport County most certainly have our number, but there are less familiar faces in this Newport team. Are we finally getting over the curse of former loved strikers and mediocre midfielders that we forgot about? I don't know. How are things going down in Newport at the moment? Is the season what you expected? Are things looking brighter? When we were down there a couple of months ago in November, it wasn't necessarily as happy as it could be. Are you back on the right train? Right track?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's. Let's start at the top. I mean, we expected a rough old season where if we could finish in 22nd with everything that's been going on, new chairman, new head coach, lots of new players, very inexperienced, all the rest of it. If we could keep our head above water, we'd probably take that. And so far, I think we're on track to do that, undoubtedly. And in fact, we'll probably do a bit better than certainly I had expected us to do. I think if there's a gripe, it's that although we've got the points on the board, the quality of the play and the feeling of there being like a solid plan in terms of our tactical approach hasn't quite landed yet. And I think that's frustrated people. But, certainly at home, the form has been decent. We notched a very good 3-0 win against Harrogate on Saturday, who looked awful. I mean, like truly bad. And, we've played Carlisle and Morecambe, and they look worse than all of them. Like they just were terrible. But, you can only beat what's put in front of you and all the rest of it. So I think we're riding on a bit of a high after that. But our away form has been terrible. And I don't think, I'm making, as we'll doubtless come on to, I'm making my first ever trip to Blundell Park on Saturday. I'm not travelling with a huge amount of optimism, but, life is full of wonderful little surprises.
It's we look a bit like kindred spirits in the table. Neither of us like a draw. Yeah. We've been able to pick up 4 or 5 wins more than you. Only 10 points separate us, really. And you're also having a bit of a struggle with trying to get into the positive goal difference. That seems to be our Achilles heel this year, that even when we teetered on the idea of having a +1 goal difference, Notts County and Salford came and slammed us back down for having the temerity to think of it. Newport, for me, pitch is sorted. It's like a carpet. It's certainly better than Blundell Park. It's nice. It'll be nice to swap those ideas around for a bit. What seems to be holding you guys back? Because first time I went to Newport this year and I was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't what I was expecting. Wonderful, quite loud, certainly better than a lot of the League Two teams and lot that I expect. Everything is it what's holding you guys back? Because you've got quite a cluster of teams that you can, let's be honest, leech off around you.
Yeah, that's true. I think that the difficulty this season has been we've got so many young, inexperienced players. The summer tactic was bringing a load of 21, 22-year-olds on 2-year deals. Most of them had only ever played academy football, a bit of non-league football, maybe loan spells. And it's taking them time to adapt. And some of them are getting there. Some of them are taking a little bit longer. 4th division players being inconsistent, shocker. This is kind of just what happens. But I think with injuries, we've never quite got into the groove. What we really needed was a run of games where perhaps we, could string together 4 or 5 wins on the trot and get that galvanize that feeling of confidence. And that's never quite happened. The closest we came, we had a good February. But then, even then it sort of unraveled a bit. And I think it's also just explained by the fact, and you will know this, it's such an inconsistent league. Even Walsall, who we thought were miles away and would win the league with over 100 points, are being sort of dragged back in. And then, down the other end, Carlisle, probably slightly worse than everyone else. But basically, you can throw a blanket over most of the teams. It's not like last year where there were 2 or 3 who were excellent and a couple that were complete basket cases. This year, everyone can take points off each other. Anyone on their day is better than anyone else having an off day. And so we've tended to perhaps struggle a little bit with that. We've picked up a few results that you might not expect, but equally away from home, we are perhaps we've got a soft underbelly. And I think it's just that. I also think we could do with 1 or 2 bastards in midfield. We could really do with a midfield general who gets his nose broken twice a season and takes no prisoners. And, you don't get many of those at 21, 22 years of age. So we lack that. And I think that's probably the thing that if we had it, it would knit together some of the individual components we've got elsewhere on the pitch.
Curtis Thompson might be free by the end of the year.
The irony is we had Bryn Morris, of course, at the start of the season, who did slightly do that job for us. I know he wasn't a huge hit with you guys, but actually for us, he did okay and he got some goals. But he wanted to move back up north, so he went off to Harrogate in the January window, and we kind of miss him a little bit, which may not be a sensation you're familiar with, but
I'm not used to people moving back up north. But it's Bryn was an interesting one. He was no for me in no way the worst midfielder we've ever had, but that isn't something to crow about. And I still hark back to the National League days of Craig Disley's and stuff, and that's who I look at. Who's going to be the replacement for that? And Bryn offered a lot, and then didn't really live up to the early expectation that he set himself. And I always found that there was no one quite as good at pointing at people in midfield, quite like Bryn Morris. You should be there. You should be there. So, well, where should you be? But there was quite a few, Mike, wasn't there? Maybe I'm being unduly harsh on Bryn.
I think I think he wasn't spectacular.
Not like me.
Yeah, it's not like you to be harsh on people, mate. Yeah, I don't think he was spectacular, but I don't think he'd let you down. He'd do a job, and the team did a job that season. You can just look at the FA Cup wins and things that happened in a highest finish for so long, and he was a part of that team. So, not spectacular, but I look at Newport and now he's gone to Harrogate. Those, I think he'll do a job for anybody outside the playoff sort of chasing teams. I think he would do a job. Not spectacular, but gets it done. And looking back at our history, Alex, we've got midfielders that just used to make things worse. He didn't make things worse. And he wasn't scared of 4G maths.
We've got a few of those here as well, don't worry.
It wasn't 4G maths that Danny Rose was scared of, Mike. It was the 5G ones.
Oh, that's what
Come on. Yeah. Wake up, sheeple.
Speaking of past players, I've got a question for Ed. Ed, how is the best left back in English football getting on?
You mean Anthony Glennon, don't you? I mean,
what do you mean? I mean Anthony Glennon.
He is an enigma, and you all warned us he was an enigma. I've got to say, Grimsby Town fans, not just you guys, but I think we got views from 2 or 3 different outlets on him, and they all said the same thing. They all said good going forward, massive liability defensively. Now, going forward, he is our top assist maker. He pings a good cross in. His set pieces are decent. He put in a corner on Saturday that we scored from, and we like him going forward. Defensively, every side we have played this season has targeted that left back area and said, just pump balls over there, and eventually Glennon will be caught out of position. And I like him. There's a lot within his play that I quite admire. But if every team you play over the course of a season targets your left back, then guess what? Your left back is an Achilles heel. So I suspect next season we'll see a bit less of him. We've signed a lad, Tom Davis, from Cardiff City, who was doing very well before he got injured. And I think he's probably first cab off the rank in that position. But Glennon to bring on as a slightly more attacking option, or to having games where maybe you want to have that more of an attacking threat. He's got something, but he is frustrating because he does get caught out of position slightly too often.
I think he suits a 5 better because his defensive frailties are there to see, but his attacking positives are there. I wonder if somebody's eventually going to do what Paul Hurst did for 2 or 3 games and put him as a left winger. which he did. Get rid of the defensive problems.
We would do that. Yeah, we would do that. But if we played him at left wing, then we'd have to leave out Bobby Camwer, who's probably our player of the season.
Who?
So, he's in that. Bobby Camwer.
He's just.
You'll find out on Saturday when he scores a hat trick past you.
I do like the idea of Svan Thorson going up against Anthony Glennon. That would be quite an exciting mix.
I've got mixed loyalties.
Have you really?
Yeah.
You're going to be singing Bread of Heaven in the Osmond stand? Is that what's going to happen?
So if Van Thorson will get past Glennon, I'll be appealing for a foul on Glennon and have to correct myself.
Yeah, I can imagine you would be as well. Ref, come on, could have killed him.
Get a dirty get off.
And also, you've got some wonderful Beatles imagery you can actually slip down with Anthony Glennon, given that he is the incarnation of Ringo Starr, or generic Liverpudlian, I guess. What is going on with my camera? Is it going off for everybody else? Am I flicking on and off? I'll fix it in a sec.
You
Mike,
can leave it off if you want. That'll be better.
Rude. What were you going to say? Go on, ask some proper questions while I fix this.
Me, I don't have proper questions. You need to be looking at Youngie for proper questions. I've got Anthony Glennon, and that's about it. And asking about God.
I've got some questions to ask you lot. If I'll throw some questions your way. So I'm making my debut at Blundell Park on Saturday. Looking forward to it. And I've got two things I need to know in terms of information. Firstly, and I gather this may divide the room. Where's the best fish and chips in Grimsby?
Steels.
It doesn't divide this room. Yeah, we're all united in the fact that Steels is the best fish and chip shop in the area.
If you
the only people it divides are people that are right and people that are wrong, and we're right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if you want to
divide between accuracy.
Yeah. Now Steels
So
is a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah.
So if you're happy to sit down, Steels. If you want to take away, just across the way from Steels is Ernie Beckett's. Very, very good. They're in the marketplace in Cleethorpes. Don't be fooled by that big pier. You'll see the pier and you'll look at it and go, God, that looks amazing. It's a fish and chip shop. But that they come from Hull. They are outsiders that came onto our patch and tried to take over the territory. And we're fighting against them.
And had the temerity as well to go into the local paper and say, now the people can have decent fish and chips. I was that close to burning the pier down. I was literally, I don't care about the dreams and the joys that I had in there in the 90s of watching A1, I think. Was it A1 that played there? Who else played there?
A1 5 were on there.
911.
Absolutely. Yeah. In from EastEnders, Ricky Butcher, Sid Owen, he was there.
Yeah. I don't care about those memories. If I have to make a statement, then I'll burn the pier down.
One thing I would say, convenience is not always best. There is a chippy right outside the away end, and apparently don't use that one.
Oh, yeah, Mariners is shite. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Oh, rubbish.
But
convenience is not your friend.
Pips is all right.
There we go. That's useful information.
Sorry.
And the other question is where's a decent pub?
I thought, Ed, you were going to ask what Ed, shall I tell you what you need to do, though? You need to stay in a caravan while you're there. Get the full experience. Mike, is there anyone that he can get a caravan from?
Oh, funny you should say that. If you turn lights off, you're more than welcome, Ed.
Are you staying?
Well, we're actually... Yeah, so me and my boy, we're staying in a shepherd's hut about 3/4 of an hour away in some woodland in Lincolnshire somewhere. So we're going to do some bird watching, and then we're going to come to the game because we are rock and roll.
Absolutely. You can do that in my caravan.
But okay, so
that sounded
if
pervy.
Yeah,
it did actually, didn't it? Mean to be.
So if you're staying over, I would say that there's round the ground, the pubs are limited at best. Though there is a cracking bar in the away end, to be fair.
I've heard about that.
Around the ground, not so great. But if you're willing to walk into Cleethorpes, which maybe about a 20-minute, half an hour walk, you've got loads of selections in there. You've got Message in a Bottle, which is very, very good. Craft Ale Place. The Fisherman's Arms is a good pub. Loads of decent places on the high street. Even the bar at the train station is a good little bar as well, the number 2. So yeah, loads of good selections around Cleethorpes itself.
Smashing. There we go. That's research done.
Whereabouts are you staying there? Because first and foremost, Cleethorpes has an RSPB nature reserve as well. But so you've got your chances there in the morning to enjoy. If you're Louth sort of way, then you've got a half decent Cornish pasty from Lakins to have. That's about it. I do like a Lakins pasty. I'm glad Youngie agrees. But that's quite a nice town. I don't know if that's the way you're going, but yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we might be that way. I don't know. Yeah.
People from Grimsby get very, very much want to show off the best that Grimsby has to offer when they've got a chance. Like, right, this is where you go. This is your itinerary. Where's the best place for a breakfast, Youngie?
I am a big fan of what used to be the Hawaiian Eye on the seafront. It's now called the Two Fat Seagulls. Very, very nice. But if you want a breakfast with a view, and in fact, I was there today. I think it's the ice cream place. I believe it's called Jules, but then they've now got the upstairs that looks over the sea, and that's quite nice on the next to the Crazy Golf place.
No, I was there this weekend. Oliver's place are unbelievable. So it's just a little bit further down on the seafront. Oh, get in there. Bacon, sausage, and egg sardi. My fucking God, you've never lived till you've had it.
Oliver's is very good. Yeah.
Yes. Apparently, we're going to fight about places to have breakfast now.
Yeah. So this away game preview where we're talking about our hometown.
Do you know what, though? I think people...
Yeah, sorry, I'll cut it with questions now.
Hang on. I'm going to... Mike, can you take over for a sec while I try and fix this? Because it's all going Pete Tong.
Jesus Christ. We're in trouble now then. So then, Ed, obviously played you earlier in the season. How's your team developed? What sort of style are you playing? So I know you've got the younger players and want to try and play a more attractive, progressive type of football. How's that working out for you?
I mean, it's working occasionally at times and not at all at others. We've tried. Well, we tried earlier in the season to move to a 4 at the back. That didn't agree with us, so we now seem to be playing a 5, and it is working better with sort of 2 holding midfielders and then a kind of almost a 3-man front line. So we'll play Courtney Baker-Richardson up front, and then Bobby Camera on the left and David Ajaboy on the right. With those two sort of, playing off the front man, basically. I quite like that. That's brought a bit more balance to our attacking play. Courtney Baker-Richardson is a adequate striker at this level, but he needs players playing off him with a bit of pace, and we've got that now. So we had Camwa at the start of the season. Ajaboy has come in over the January window. He did really well at this level for Sutton when he was there. And I was really pleased to see him come in because I think he's a live wire. So we do have 2 quick, nippy, pacey wingers and a good, strong striker. Defensively, we're still a little bit of a work in progress, but James Clark coming back from injury as captain and one of the few experienced heads we've got left still standing has given us a bit more resilience. I think the difficult part is those 2 holding midfielders. We've tried different options and nothing's quite clicked yet. But I would imagine on Saturday it will be Shane McLaughlin and possibly Kieran Brennan. So that's kind of the shape we play. Whether it works or not, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. We are the sort of team, and this last week is a perfect example. We can go up to Accrington and lose 5-0 and not manage a single shot on goal all game, and then we'll play at home against Harrogate. We'll be 3-0 up, comfortable cruising, and we can beat teams as well. So first goal may well be a big thing on Saturday. If it goes against us, I struggle to see us taking anything from it. But it's that we're inconsistent. We can lose with the best of them. We can beat teams who don't expect us to take anything. But it's maddening. But I think that's the same story that most teams in this level have got this season.
Yeah, I think I was about to say this kind of same thing, Ed. I think that even really up to the automatic promotions places in the league, they're all very capable of having a bad day in this league. I think that's been proven this season. It's basically who who is the most consistent teams out of a bunch of inconsistent teams in it, really. Walsall have kind of been an exception, but even now, they've now fallen into that trap as well. So, I mean, I was going to say to you about really the managerial choice, because obviously Jenkins came in, didn't he, and basically bought his kind of somebody he knew from Swansea. And it on paper, it looked maybe an ambitious move, maybe an odd move. How have you guys taken to him? And do you think that it's a work in progress that eventually will pay off?
So Nelson Jardim as head coach has worked with some of the best coaches across Europe, very well regarded by all accounts. The players really buy into him and his methods. And, we've had him on the podcast. He's a really nice, humble family man. I've got a lot of time for him. Whether he is ready to take this team onto kind of the next level, I think is an open question, because although we've done well, perhaps slightly better than expected this season, have we seen the progress between August and now? I'm not sure many of us would say we definitely have. And when the question was put to the chairman at a fans forum recently, the answer he gave distinctively suggested that maybe at the end of the season we might see some changes. So, I mean, who knows? Like I say, I've got a lot of time for Nelson Jardim. The players, by all accounts, do as well. And he's done the best he can with the tools he's had at his disposal. But I wonder whether we may see a change in the summer.
What was the change in January? What was the I mean, first and foremost, where did that victory against Milton Keynes come from when you won 6-3 in the middle of nowhere? But what was the step change? Obviously, you've come off the back of a pretty hard defeat against Accrington. So the inconsistencies are there, but you seem to be consistently inconsistent. You know, either a long line of defeats or you actually go on a little bit of a run like you've done in the last couple of weeks. Is it all confidence or is it something else?
I think this is my problem, is there's no rhyme or reason to it. You can't say we've done better with this particular shape or with these particular individuals or against these sorts of teams. It is just throw it up in the air and see what happens. You know, like you say, we beat Franchise 6-3 and then we went and lost whatever it was 5 days later at Bromley. It looked like we never played a game of football in our lives. Accrington, I wasn't there, but I heard from people who were that it was dire. It was so bad. And then Saturday, the reaction's there and they get a win. It's the thing. That's the thing that frustrates me. It's not that we're inconsistent. It's that there's no rhyme or reason at all that would allow you to say, right, if we change this thing or we bring this player into the side, or, you know, we make changes on 65 minutes that perhaps see us change shape or something, that we can then do something. There's no sense of what's working and what isn't. It's just the roulette wheel every Saturday.
I like the odds of that. Was it 3 wins away from home this season? I'm looking forward to our third defeat in a row with those sort of odds. Because I'd much prefer you to be on a 5-game winning streak. That's usually when it tends to happen. What teams this season have surprised you? Who've been the team that have impressed you most this season that you've come up against? We've only got 9 games left. We've all had a good look at them.
Yeah.
Who's been the surprise that rocked up at Rodney?
I think the best side I've seen us play this season, we haven't played Walsall at home yet, so this is caveated, but the best side I've seen us play was Port Vale. They destroyed us back in September, I think it was, and I didn't expect that. They I thought they'd be top half, but they came and did a real number on us and just looked. Everyone knew their job and they looked well prepared, and they did a number on us. So they, I think, were by some distance the best side I've seen this season. But again, they've had flashes where they've looked great and flashes where they haven't. The worst side was definitely Harrogate on Saturday. Although Morecambe, I feel bad for Morecambe, because although I don't have a huge amount of time for them as a club, like a lot of the people around them, we do these podcast chats and stuff. They've got some all right people around the place, and in 2 games this season, they comprehensively had more shots than us, had more possession than us, and we took 6 points off them. So I feel like they're probably in a position that is slightly undeserving, and we've played our part in that. But someone's got to go down, and I'm just glad it's not us.
We've got to play all three of them between now and the end of the season.
I don't know what you guys think, but it does. I know it's changing the subject slightly. It does look to me that it's pretty much done at the bottom of the table, isn't it? From the way you look at it, I think Carlisle and Morecambe are probably going to be the two that go. I think six.
Do you not think Tranmere might get sucked into it? I think.
No, I mean we played them recently, and probably new manager Bowes and stuff. I think they've probably got enough about them to scrape a few. I might be wrong. I just think it's done at the bottom of the table already.
They've timed their new manager bounce quite well, haven't they? Yeah. Because they were on an awful run before getting rid of Adkins, and now they got a result at Bradford, didn't they, on Saturday? So they're
hell of a penalty. Did you see it? It was an amazing penalty. It was brilliant. It was like watching Carl Hudlin fall to the ground at Rodney Parade or whoever it was.
In installments.
Yeah.
But Carlisle hadn't had a new manager bounce, have they, off Mark Hughes? And now he's doing the classic. And now he's doing the classic of all them players we signed in January are all rubbish and they're unfit and they're not good enough. So he knows full well that the game's over there already.
It's slightly away from Newport and Ed, so I apologise, but it does sort of reinforce what Artel said in the fans forum on Friday night, which is you can spend telephone numbers, and if it's in the wrong environment on the wrong players, you're going to go out of the league. Forest Green last season, and I'm pretty sure Carlisle are going this season with Mark Hughes and spending telephone numbers on players. So whilst money's important, it's not the be-all and end-all. And I think probably clubs like us and Newport probably get that. It's about getting more bang for your buck than just chucking stuff at it.
I did like though what Carlisle were putting together. Like Mike Williamson absolutely wanted him. The football he got playing at Gateshead was brilliant. I was slightly disappointed that Paul Hurst wasn't sacked a couple of weeks before, because he would have been a prime candidate for us. But I'm glad we took our time and picked the right man.
It's all worked out, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's all right. And that's the main thing, isn't it, Mike? Not that we've got main character syndrome, but it's all about us. How many of the 92 have you done now? Well, it's about 120 for us, given the leagues we've been in. But how many have you got left?
Oh, loads.
Because I was going to say, I thought Blunder Park's one of those ones you'd go, oh, if you don't live there, you're like, oh, that's a long trek. It's like Carlisle's usually the last one left.
Yeah, well, I did Carlisle a few years ago. The reason I'm doing Grimsby is my eldest has an inset day on Friday, so I thought, well, we can do the trip nice and easily then. Drive up on the Friday, stay over, drive back on the Sunday. I mean, of the teams in this league, I think I've probably done 3/4 of them by now. But I mean, I tend to do most of the home games, and then I've got there are podcast colleagues who do the far-flung northern away trips and stuff. So, but I mean, Grimsby's it is like the least. It's actually less accessible than Carlisle for us, because at least Carlisle you got motorways the whole way there, whereas Grimsby it's all kind of
Lincolnshire's the only county without a motorway in it, and you can bloody feel it. What a stat! We've got a bit of the A1. We're so proud, yeah. We're not dual carriageway in the straightest grading. Then? It's not in Lincolnshire. It's in North Lincolnshire and North East Lincolnshire, baby.
Not the same thing.
Nah, not you. Not new unit. I've already had this week. When I put a tweet out that I had to tell the IT team to take Humberside off, considering it got dissolved in 1996.
I saw that tweet and I had a pang of sympathy, because I live in Cardiff, and every time I put my address in anywhere, it insists that I live in South Glamorgan, which was abolished in 1995.
There we go. See, we have no idea where we're all living. Bristol live in Avon, apparently. Still, but in terms of how you guys are setting up now, Kyle Hudlin to me is always a really I would like him. Like, if England are playing. If you could have an ultimate, just think about it. If you could have as many players as you want for a national team for 5 minutes, if you're losing 1-0, I'm going full Mike Bassett with Akinfenwa and Kyle Hudlin up front, because no team would know, at least for 5 minutes before they're in, oh, actually, they're pretty poor. They wouldn't know for those first 5 minutes. How has he settled in? Because he's always been a little bit of a not a nemesis. What would you call him? A bogeyman for us.
Well, you won't get to see him on Saturday because he's injured now and he's not going to play again this season. He is our scoringest striker. I think he's on 6 or 7. And some people have taken that as evidence that he is our most effective striker, which I would strongly argue is not the case. The problem with Kyle Hudlin, and look, every side in this division needs a big man you can stick it up to. There's 2 problems with Kyle Hudlin. One is that too often we used him as plan A, starting games, rather than bringing him on in 70 minutes when we either needed to put it in the corner or we needed to, try something different. The other problem is that given the way we've tried to mould this squad around playing good football, if you then say, well, our scoringest striker is 6'7", so we've got to start with him. It then means you necessarily have to play a way that suits his skill set and not the 10 other players on the pitch. So he's not a bad human being, and I'm sure he will continue to score goals, probably at this level. And in the right team, he could be very effective. What I don't think is that he should be in this Newport County team, because I just think he is the complete opposite of what we actually need to be playing around.
I think you're being unduly harsh on a man that can at least get the cobwebs off the main stand. Think of all the money you save on a charity.
Well, yeah, he has his uses. Yeah.
Just put that sponsor board back, will you, mate? Yeah, I would be very aware after 55 minutes and the game is drifting. I'd be right, bring him on. Let's get him up there. Let's play for set pieces. Is there anyone we should be really wary of? You were talking about your guy on the left. Is there anyone else we should
apart from him?
Yeah,
apart from Anthony Glennon, who's on the bench?
It's the two wingers. It's Camwer and Ajaboy. Early in the season, Camwer was the box of tricks and did very, very well. Then teams realised if they doubled up on him, we didn't have an outlet. Signing Ajaboy now means that we've got an outlet on both wings, and you can't double up when you've got 2 players on opposite sides of the pitch. So that balance that it's brought, I think, has been really, really good. They are probably the ones to watch. The other one that I'll throw in as a possible from the bench, Kai Whitmore, who we signed from, I think it was Penabont, or it might be Haverfordwest side in the Cymru Prem anyway last season. I think he is one who we might sort of base our midfield around next season. Big, strong, athletic, can score from miles out, and he's one of these players who wants to make things happen when he comes on. So if he comes on Saturday, and I think he will, that's probably the moment at which we're gambling. So yeah, he maybe he's due a good performance.
Wonderful. I was going to ask as well. I don't really pay much attention to what's going on in the Welsh League, but is there still that thing going on where you guys are trying to use, everyone in Wales is trying to use the attraction of Wrexham to bring back English league teams into Welsh competitions, or is that
that's died to death? Because we all knew this would happen. The FA said no, you can't have teams playing in the English pyramid and taking part in the Welsh Cup competitions and then using that as a route into Europe. And I don't think anyone really expected to. And even those of us who would have quite liked to have had a few little European trips went, well, that does feel like we're trying to have the penny and the bun. So I think, yeah, it was no surprise to see it being dispensed with. I mean, also, if I was a fan of a Cymru League side, I'd be pretty pissed off that the Welsh FA were giving that prize away over our heads. And so the whole thing was ill-conceived, and no one ever actually bothered to ask fans of Cymru League clubs, or indeed fans of the Football League clubs playing in based in Wales, what we thought. It was, suits and administrators and chairmen all sitting around the table trying to work out how they could get the most money. And that is anathema to how I think the world should be run.
It'd be very funny though to watch Wrexham lose to TNS in a final though.
Yeah. Well, I like the really old days of the Welsh Cup when they let like Shrewsbury and Hereford and anyone who was within striking distance of the border. They're like, yeah, come on in, you can all be part of it. But I think the world has moved on now. Look, we as a podcast we have adopted a local men's side and a local women's side each season who we keep track on in the Cymru leagues. And so I've probably watched more Cymru League games over the last few years than I had done for the 20 years before that I've been living in South Wales. And there's some good football being played, and it's a nice, friendly, viable league in and of itself. What it doesn't need is big clubs from England coming in and saying we want to have some of what you've got. Let them thrive on their own merits.
Yeah, throw them the other side of Offers Dyke. They'll be keep them that
exactly.
side. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, you guys, do you feel like you fight for quite a lot of attention with Cardiff and Swansea? Well, Cardiff more, let's be honest. But when I was there, it was quite busy. Granted, you were having a Christmas fair, but it looked like everybody in Newport was leaving the game. Is it a struggle, or is it not as? Is there a good, strong, Newport identity that keeps it pretty?
There definitely is. I mean, look, within the Welsh media, it's always, Cardiff and Swansea, these are their results, and Wrexham did this, and then sometimes we get forgotten about altogether. And if you're lucky, it'll be and Newport lost, but it's a very quick mention. But we kind of reconciled ourselves to that. And to be honest, the Newport psyche is very, very much look. We're just here doing our thing, and if you like it, you'll have a good time, and if you're not interested, then that's your problem. And I think partly because of that, and partly because of the way that the city had to fight to get its football club back after we went out of business and reformed. I think because of that, there is a really strong identity, and you see more kids now with every passing year in Newport wearing Newport County shirts. The club's community arm does great stuff. I think that attendances have been going up every year for the last God knows how many years. We're in a really good place, I think, as a proper community club. To compare us with what's happening at Cardiff or Swansea, who've got more history and bigger populations and didn't spend 20 years having to play parks football is an unfair comparison. By our own standards, we're doing really well and moving in the right direction.
Quick question, Ed. Who's this fella that's always wearing shorts and t-shirt on your bench and is built like a brick shithouse?
That would be David Pipe, the scariest man in South Wales. He is nominally a kind of strength and conditioning coach, but he is. Any opportunity he gets to take his top off, he will take his top off. And I've got pictures of him with my two kids when they were tiny, with his sort of big bare arm around these tiny little scared-looking boys. He's a legend, is Pipey.
We need him to be meeting Dave Moore, the strongest and hardest man in Grimsby, who always wears shorts, even though we're on the North Sea. Mike, I think that's something that we need to arrange. Youngie, surely with the powers that you've got, Bruce especially, surely we can get that meeting done.
I think scrap the mascots on Saturday.
Yeah.
For the
holding the hand. Oh, I thought you were going to say holding the captain's
No. I'm thinking get rid of Mighty Mariner for the day. Halftime entertainment. One on one side, one on the other. Sprint to the middle. Wrestle to the death. We're on.
Sumo wrestling in the centre circle.
Yes, that's a great idea. Sumo's. No, don't do it on our pitch, Ed. Someone will break an ankle.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, Youngie's on about to the death, so I don't think they care about a broken ankle. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Well, I'll be honest. The amount the pitch is dug up, it's a great place to bury him. So, job done.
Many a footballing career has been buried on that pitch.
Yeah, unfortunately, most of them have been in black and white.
Cisse Tory, we hardly knew you.
Well, that's because he didn't have his number on his back.
No, that was it. He was a Welsh League signing.
Yeah, he came from Aberystwyth, didn't he?
Yeah.
So, Ed, would you not feel confident when Ian Holloway is saying his phone is melting in his hands, and he brings in a striker from Folkestone, Invicta, and Aberystwyth Town?
Hey, look, it doesn't matter where they're coming from; it matters where they're going.
Yeah, they went pretty quickly, thankfully. Even though one of them, it was Montel Gibson that was given a 3-year deal, wasn't it?
Great use of budget.
2.5 years later, four managers along. Are you still here? What? Who are you? The only thing I'd ask Ed, if you've got something you can give to the away bar, if you've got an old Newport shirt that no longer fits, or Omar Bogle's got a shirt that he gave you, or Ammon did, then we'll get it up in the away bar, or a little scarf or something. They've got. It shows how random towns' history has been when it goes from things like Bognor Regis and Stourbridge up to slightly bigger teams like Forest Green.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the away bar. I've heard at least 3 people have completely independently said it's like going into your nan's front room.
It's got a sofa, which already puts it above most League 2 away. Barnett's is good. I think.
Yeah, Barnett's is a good one.
Oh yeah,
Barnett's is too good. We did break it though. The first time when we went and took a mariachi band, that was quite nice. But then the next time when we took inflatables, all it was teenagers kicking the shit out of an inflatable sex doll into the ceiling to see how much damage they could do. And I've never been prouder of being from Grimsby. Any questions else before we let Ed leave this weird den of iniquity?
Didn't Youngie do a quiz?
Yes, Youngie did do a quiz. Youngie's got a quiz. He's the quiz master general. What are we doing, Youngie?
So I've got basically 3 games that have taken place between Grimsby and Newport in recent years, and essentially I'm going to do Mike versus Ed, but you've got to name me a player from your side that was in the 11.
God, I'm so bad at these because I the second the players left, I've forgotten them. They're dead to me, so I will be awful at this.
Just name ex-players that used to play for us then, Ed, because they're probably in the team.
Yeah, Bryn Morris. Do you want your theme tune?
If you've got it available, that would. So, I have gone for 3 games, all taking place at Blundell Park. I've got a win for Grimsby, a win for Newport, and a draw to keep things fair. Okay, so you can decide whether or not these moments were memorable. So, Ed is our guest. I will let him go first. So you've got to basically, I'll just do one each. Process elimination. The first one to go wrong, or go wrong. Next one gets right, gets the point for that round. So the first game took place on Saturday, November the 9th, 2019, and it was in the FA Cup. And it was a 1-1 draw at Blundell Park. So, Ed, who was playing for Newport on that day? Give me one name.
I will go for... around that time, I reckon we would have had Timmy Abrahams in the team.
Yes, absolutely. Abrahams was up front. That is correct. Mike, who was in the Grimsby 11, November 2019.
I will go. This might be, James McEwen. We never had anybody else, did we?
Is incorrect.
Oh, he put somebody else in.
He put Sam Russell in goal.
Oh. You'll have one life. Come on, you'll have one life.
In goal. So, just so. Are we giving you one? So no, I've got to be fair. Fair is fair. It is 1-0 to Ed.
Ed can get one wrong then.
Oh, Newport are winning.
Newport are winning. Just to give you a heads up, in the town team was Russell, Luke Waterfall, Ludwig Command, Matty Pollock, Liam Gibson, Elliot Whitehouse, Hesson Tyler Robson, Green, Hanson, and Cook. The substitutes used were Harry Clifton, Akeem Rose, and Harry Cardwell. In the Newport team was King in goal, Innes, O'Brien, and Bennett in defence, Wilmot, Ladaby, Sheehan, Nurse, Hayes, Abrahams, and Jamil Matt, the famous, another ex-town player up front. And on the bench, who came on? Padraig Amond came off the bench. So there you go, for Newport. So, the next one then is a Grimsby win, okay, and it is in
1938.
It's the 2016-17 season, and it was a 1-0 to Grimsby. It was towards the end of the season. I know it was, in fact, it wasn't towards the end of the season. I lied there. Okay, but yes, it's 2016-17, 1-0 to Grimsby. Who was in the lineup? And Mike, you can start this time.
What was the date? Sorry.
Good question. I haven't got the date in front of me, but it must be the first half of the season.
Tuesday, the 27th of September, 2016.
Because I'm going to say.
Thank you very much.
When? September?
I only say it once.
Yeah, McEwen then. He was still on the team. Right?
McEwen was in goal that day, yes. Ed.
I will go for Josh Sheehan.
Josh Sheehan, you say? No, I can't give you that because he was an unused substitute, as McKeon was an unused substitute in the other games. It was 1-1.
We're doing well here, aren't we, Ed?
Notable in your lineup that day was ex-Grimsby defender who barely played for 2 years, Paul Bignett, and obviously brother of our ex-manager Marcus Bignett. Ben Tozer played for Newport that day. Rhys Healy and Big John Parkin was in the lineup for Newport.
Big John Parkin, yeah.
And then for Grimsby, Omar Bogle got the winning penalty with 2 minutes to get spare. Caden Jackson played. Andrew Boyce, Dominic Rose, Ben Davis, etc. Okay, so we go to a decider. And I feel Ed might have an advantage on this one because it is the first leg of the playoff semi-final at Blundell Park, which finished Grimsby Town 0, Newport 1. Okay, so Ed, you are to start.
What year?
Oh, sorry, God. Yes, it is 2013.
Right, okay.
I was at the second leg, and I remember so much about that game, but I am going to really struggle now to remember. Okay, Aaron O'Connor.
Aaron O'Connor, you say? I'm afraid that is incorrect. He is not in the 11 that I can see. So you've got a chance
to win this game by saying the same answer 3 times.
Yeah, you can.
It's James McEwen.
It is James McEwen, yes. Absolutely. The Newport lineup. I'll go for the Newport lineup first. It was Pidgley in goal, James Yakubu, who got the winner, Anthony, David Pipe, Andy Sandell, Alex Gilby, Lee Minsell, Michael Flynn, Danny Crowe, and another ex-Grimsby striker, Christian Jolly. Wilmot, Washington, and Donnelly came off the bench. And for Town, it was McKeown, Hatton, Pearson, Ian Miller, remember him, Aswad Thomas. Believe it or not, Cleveland Taylor played in that game. Craig Disley, Cleveland, ex-Scunthorpe winger Cleveland Taylor. Craig Disley, Tom Naylor, Jamie Devitt, Liam Hearn, Andy Cook.
Was Jolly on the bench? Somebody called Jolly? We had?
Jolly played for Newport that day.
Oh, did he? Was it the next year he came to us then?
Yes, it was the next year.
Oh, I don't know. We've got some sort of exchange program going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. So, Mike, you are the winner in a very short-lived game, but a quick game.
One answer.
Game with one answer. There you go.
That's very much the Newcastle United way of holding out for the last 20 minutes. Right, Ed, I think we should allow you to escape us. Thank you so much, as always, for coming on and enjoying your company. I hope you have a really good time at Blundell Park, obviously, apart from the result, etc., etc. Oh, he's gone.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi's now playing up. Lovely to see you, gents. See you next season.
See, how rude.
Oh.
Comes on here and then leaves it with that little.
Yeah.
He's drops his mic off.
Yeah, drops his mic.
Don't worry, lads. You ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Every time I try and escape, they drag us back in.
53 minutes we sat here saying, I know I'm going to go when I finish.
Yeah.
See you next year, losers.
Yeah.
You'll never escape League Two. There we go. Well, we will. We have done a couple of times. Not the way we wanted to.
Wrong way.
Yeah. I'm going to get you out of this league as quickly as possible. Thanks, Ian. there we go. That was it. We did an actual thing. This is the second time you've had us in 24 hours. So don't expect anything else. But thank you very much for listening. I don't know if we'll put this on thingy. What?
Fans Forum just been released. Go and watch it. It's quite interesting.
Go and watch the Fans Forum because there's apparently a bit where we get mentioned in a nice way.
For a change. But yeah, it's quite an interesting one. I'm going to back to listen to it in a minute, see if what I said happened yesterday actually did happen.
I hope you took a load of LSD and it didn't. Just look, there was no elephant. There was no talking sausage roll. There was no Scotch egg bouncing along like from The Prisoner, trying to chase Jason Stockwell, going, "You'll never get promoted with these things in the kiosk."
They told me they wouldn't let the flask in because the flask was talking.
Yeah, the flask looked like those little mops out of Fantasia just marching through the main stand.
To the Tinkerboo factory theme.
I'm not quick enough. I need to get a thing that allows me to press buttons quickly because then I don't have to scroll.
Brain?
Yes, one of those would be really useful. Thank you.
Are you going to the game on Saturday then, Yogi?
Yeah. I'm going on Saturday. Yes, and I've got a day off work, so I'm going to take advantage of it. Get in a.
Is it Colchester the Friday after?
Yes. 28.
Yeah. I'm going there. Alex has kindly agreed after last night's pod. He agreed vehemently to pick me up and take me, didn't you, Alex?
Oh, that's very nice. Are you going to do the match then together?
Well, he definitely, when I said, "Can you pick me up?" definitely didn't go, "Oh, well, you know,
it's a 2-mile
detour." It's a 2-mile detour.
It's not a 2-mile detour. What is this?
Whenever we have games down here and I say, "Can you pick me up?" you always go, "Well, it's not exactly down the precise road I need to go on that way, so no, I can't afford the time to stop. I've not got to drive down your road." It's exactly how it sounds.
That's a great impression of Sam.
Yeah. Well, mine is... Sam, I had to take... Where did I take Sam?
Oh, you gave Sam a lift, didn't you? Yeah.
I just wanted him out of the area as quickly as possible. I can't remember where it was, but I think what we'll do is we'll try and take the drone and we'll do some proper filming and see if we can, we'll do like Marina Hoddo and get kicked out for having a camera. Right. Well, there we go.
It's fucking middle of nowhere, Colchester, Not the place, I mean the stadium.
Yeah, the ground is, yeah. It's
the worst. It's the worst stadium in the world, and it's only going to be accentuated by the fact that we lose 1-0 to a Danny Cowley penalty in the 89th minute, ruining.
I don't think he can play.
Yeah, but that's John Akindi's music. Brilliant, great.
If you think our pitch is bad, by the way, if you think our pitch is bad, Colchester's, my word, manure.
Oh,
you see attention.
Yeah, the really bad ones are Colchester, Harrogate, and Morecambe, and then I think we're probably 4th or 5th. They are quite bad, and a long way worse than what ours is. It's just been a terrible season. The problem is our pitch is just there's not much tolerance in it. So if it has a bit, and we've got not much, we don't have lamps, but the lamps cost like $4,000 a day or something to run on electricity or something stupid, don't they?
I think Jason said at the forum something about if you dig down 2 foot or something, there's just bricks underneath it.
Well, I've had people say that you can literally smell it rotting on the and it's just sludge underneath, and then bricks, I guess, like the Romans built.
But what did they ever do?
They know about it. So,
what was that, Yogi?
What did they ever do for us?
Yeah, exactly. Didn't lay a pitch.
Irrigation, clean roads.
Their roads didn't have
the viaduct. What did they ever do for us?
Where's the viaduct for us? Oh, we don't have a viaduct or an aqueduct. I think you meant aqueduct.
People's Front of Judea. Splitters.
Yeah. Right. I think we'll go. Thank you all very much for listening to us. That was a podcast done by us.
He's not the Messiah.
He's
Ian Holloway.
He just can't kick a ball straight.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
I don't think I've ever wanted to be in a stand more than my life around there. They're going crazy. Hey, they got penalty here. There'll be fish flying about there. There's no tomorrow.
What a magnificent piece of football! A really, really good goal. You can't make it straight like that.